Okay, today we're going to see what wine pairs with Korean army stew. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent. And we're from The Wind Up, and we're here to provide you an unfiltered, unapologetically unprofessional journey of wine.
And our slogan here is
Drink more, try more, learn more.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And before we get into the Korean army stew, which is simmering away in front of us now, let's think about the thoughts of the week. Trent, what have you been thinking about?
So my thought of the week, as it kind of ties into the bubbles of this kind of bubbles away, is around a previous episode where we did KFC wine pairing, and the wine that I picked for that one's around Pet Nat.
Yep.
And part of that reason was that I picked the Pet Nat because around the bubbles, and the bubbles kind of brings that kind of freshness over the fattiness of the KFC. So I thought, how else can we create bubbles? Yeah. And the thought bubble that kind of like came to my head, get it? The thought bubble came to my head.
Yeah, I get it.
Was SodaStream. Okay, so can we use SodaStream with still wine to create the bubbles?
Yeah.
You know, think sparkling Shiraz, think like doing a Chardonnay and putting bubbles through it. Will that work? So I did some research online, and funnily enough, some people have actually done it.
Wow.
But there are some caveats,
Yep.
okay, or some recommendations. One, try it with white wine rather than red wine. Two, find the safe space. It could create bubbles everywhere. And just do it incrementally. Just do a small bit.
You don't want it to explode everywhere.
Explode everywhere
Yeah.
and red wine all over your carpet. No, that's not very good.
Got it.
Okay. Third one was that clean the SodaStream straight after the use, especially if you're trying it with red wine, because it's just going to stain and make everything else and bad. And the next time you try and do a fizzy cola, it's going to taste a bit like red wine, which could be a good or bad thing. I don't know.
Not for the kids, probably. Probably not a good idea.
It could be good for the kids, make them sleep a bit better. But don't do that at home. And then the last one is that it won't turn a bad wine into a good wine magically. You know, SodaStream is quite magical.
Yep.
In the fact that it creates these magical bubbles, you know, through and creates cola at home, whatever like that. But it wouldn't take a bad wine into a good wine.
Yes.
So I don't have a SodaStream at home.
Why not? Get on.
But
Come
it's
on.
something that I have looked into investing before.
Yep.
But otherwise I would have made something here to try ourselves and let me know your thoughts, my thoughts, on whether it works or doesn't work.
Well, coincidentally, I have a SodaStream. We can give this a crack. We'll give it a crack afterwards.
Sounds good. So your thoughts of the week?
Yeah, let us know. Anyone that's watching or listening, let us know if you've had a SodaStream with your wine and what the experience is. I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with you, Trent. While we're talking and recording a podcast, you're here taking care of the Korean army stew that's cooking in front of us.
Yeah.
Well done. Look, thoughts of the week for me, it's around learning more about the wine industry and the terminology used, and something I quite often hear is the term aged on lees.
Oh, yes.
And what the hell does that mean?
I don't know. What the hell does that mean, Jess?
Lee jeans? I don't know.
Lees,
So I had to look into it, just trying to understand what is that. And lees, I found out, are actually dead yeast cells.
Yeah.
So you were talking about fermentation previously. Fermentation is when you add active yeast to the grape juice, and that kind of chomps away on the sugars, creates alcohol, it releases a bit of, I think it's carbon dioxide or some gas.
Yeah. Yeah, dead yeast cells doesn't sound very tasty, does it? It makes me feel like that kind of dead skin off the body.
Imagine
that.
Imagine a
that.
wine made of dead skin. It'd have some texture.
Yeah, it reminds me of that movie, you know, Goldmember. Was it Goldmember? When he tastes like, he has a box and opens up and has a dead skin and eats it.
What movies are you watching, Goldman?
Oh, it was Austin Powers. Austin Powers.
Fair enough. Revealing the age, Austin Powers. Who knows that? But dead yeast cells doesn't sound revealing, but it's actually the thing that adds texture.
Yeah.
So if you think particularly around white wines, that brioche, that crumb, that yeasty flavor, and then the creamy texture.
Yeah.
Dead yeast cells.
Dead yeast cells. Wow.
That's what's helping it. So when they talk about aged on lees, it means that the wine is being matured with some dead yeast cells in here. Don't worry about anything being dead. Just think about the flavor sensation and think about the texture, and you're all right.
Sounds good. Keyword, flavor sensation, I think.
I took that from you. And that's what I've been thinking about. If we move on to wine of the week.
Yeah, wine of the week. So I was doing a bit of cooking the other week, and I try not to use some of my kind of good wines for cooking because I don't want to kind of waste it. So I went out to Dan Murphy's, look for a good dry white wine, not a good one, but a dry white wine for cooking. And as I normally do, I kind of veer off and go past the cellar release area and see what's going there. Yeah. Always, you have to, right?
You don't go there first. I go there first. Anyway.
I go there last. I went past it. I saw a 2016 Annies Lane Cabernet Merlot from the Clare Valley. And can you guess how much that cost?
A cellar release.
2016 Clare Valley Cabernet.
Sounds like it should be a lot, but Dan, they do a good value. I feel like it was $25.
$19.
Whoa.
$19. Bargain
I've
for
had a
your
couple of Annies Lane before, actually.
Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, okay.
And surprisingly, it was really, really good. So love that kind of graphite lead pencil from the Cabernet coming through. Blackberries. It was beautiful. I think I had it with a steak, a nice bavette steak, and it was just absolutely spot on.
What did you say? Bavette steak?
Bavette steak.
What are you talking about? What's that? That's not from Costco. What's that?
No,
What's a bavette steak?
It's a type of cut of a steak.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
But $19 is an absolute bargain, mate.
That's cheap.
Yeah,
For
really
2016.
cheap. Under $20. It's like, have to go back and get some more.
Dan, you've done it again.
Dan, you've done it again.
I
It sounds like a slogan for an ad.
It should be. Dan, reach out to us. We'll come out with more slogans. All right, good recommendation for wine of the week. And so let's jump into it. Let's jump into the topic for today, which is what wine pairs with Korean army stew. And this one came from the community. So thanks to the community for voting. You and I wanted to do a wine pairing with a kebab, still want to do that.
Yeah.
But the community said, tell us what wine pairs with Korean army stew. And so that's what we're trying today. And that's what we've got in front of us.
What is a Korean army stew?
So if we look at what's in front of us, for those that are on YouTube, you'd be able to see there's a bit of sausage, there's a bit of spam, there's a bit of rice noodles, kimchi, mushrooms, melted cheese, which you probably can't see right now. And it's all on a bed of this delicious, spicy chili soup. So it's a stew that came out of the times where it was a bit difficult, kind of around when the Korean War was going on. And so Koreans were being thrifty. How can they make their traditional stews with what they could access? And they had access to some of the processed meats coming from the US military bases. So that's the genesis of this. And there's other variations, including baked beans. Have you had this before?
I have not had this before. I do like a bit of Korean food, but I don't think I'm overly infatuated with the spice though. But
well, that's what's scary. I think trying to pair wine to that chili hit is a challenge. And so that's what we're going to try to do today. Korean army stew, hot, spicy, savory dishes, lots of different textures. What the hell do you pair with this?
Korean beer.
Korean beer.
Height. Is it?
Height or Cass.
Cass,
yeah. All of those. That works well. We're going to try wine. And so today's challenge, we were trying to stick for 2 wines. Trent's chosen a wine. I've chosen a wine. And which of those pairs with it. But Trent's thrown in a bonus round as well.
Bonus round, yeah.
So we also have a third wine that we're going to try and pair. And so we might start with the wine that I've chosen.
Okay, let's go.
And so the wine that I've chosen, actually, we should serve while you're doing that.
You talk to your wine while I'll serve.
So the wine that I've chosen is a Moscato, a Castello Del Poggio from Italy.
Your Italian pronunciation's getting much, much better.
Yeah, I don't have much of an accent on there, but let me try and hold this in front of the camera so you can see it there. We got it for about $14 from Dan's. Love Dan's. Here we go. And so Moscato, the reason that I chose this wine was I was trying to get a contrasting pair. So the view was, if this is spicy and chili, if the Korean army stew is spicy and chili, let's go in the opposite direction and have something that's sweet to ideally balance out the flavor.
Oh, good
Soften
thinking.
the heat a bit. And also it's got a bit of acidity and dryness to it.
Yeah.
To cut through some of this fatty processed meats, such as the spam and sausages here. So that's the theory. Whether or not it comes out in reality, let's see.
Cool. And how did you get that research? So did you kind of like Google it through what works with spicy food, or how did it come to that conclusion?
Like everyone in this day and age, Google is your friend. So I was just looking at what's the thoughts around pairings, contrast versus complementary.
This day and age, I use ChatGPT in this day and
ChatGPT.
age. Not Google.
It's also good. And and sometimes when you're out and about, just flick out the ChatGPT to answer all of the questions.
Exactly. Let's try it.
So let's go. Let's go with the Moscato. So again, tasting with our eyes, nose, and mouth. So Moscato, quite light and clear. Again, quite pale, standard white wine in my mind. I think the nose should tell something different as Trent gives it a try.
Smells sweet. It's just like it smells like summer to me. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I feel like watermelon sugar,
Watermelon sugar. Are you thinking about Harry Styles? What's the... I think about those wines. I think about beers that have come out right now in summer, where they call it a summer ale.
Summer ale.
Which is quite...
Yeah.
It's quite fruity and sweet. That kind of...
Yeah, it's like this. It's like... It's like very kind of... like aptly sweet type of thing. Like,
in some ways a bit overly sweet is what I'm smelling. It's like they've put a lolly in some water and let the sugars kind of dissolve through it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've gone through sight and scent. You've had a taste. What are you tasting there?
Very sweet. Yeah, maybe we've been used to too much of that kind of bone dry type of wines, but yeah. Look, it's still fragrant. It's very easy to drink. It's a wine that I think you can kind of taste without kind of tasting the alcohol, which makes it really, really easy, especially if you're trying to get into wines. Summer drink, I say definitely. And but I like to see whether the sweetness will kind of be pared down as we pair it with the Korean army stew.
Yeah, sweetness is a word. I feel like there's sugar dissolved in there, and so let's try the pairing, because it's not about the wine in this instance. It's about how does it pair with the Korean army stew.
Korean army stew is really good for you, right? All the processed meats, right?
Hey, as a fan of spam and corned beef, there's nothing wrong with processed meat.
What is in spam, by the way, Jace?
We've talked about this previously. Don't question it. Just eat it. Is it spicy? You're digging into it.
No, it's not that spicy.
Is there a bit of hit?
Not that spicy. It's got a bit of it's very that kind of umami kind of flavor bomb sensations is really nice. So now it's actually really good, right?
You know what? The cheese I can taste that's melted through it. You can't even see it. It's really nice. But you're right.
And
hardly any heat.
Now having the Moscato, it does balance out the sweetness of the Moscato, which is really good. So in this case, I think it does work. Tick. It's not amazing, mind blowing, but
yeah, I agree.
It's like a meh. Yeah.
Would I go for this pairing very often? Probably not. But it works. You're right. The savouriness and the sweetness and any of the acidity that's there.
What would have been more interesting though if this was more spicy?
Yes.
How you deal with that one?
And maybe that's how it's meant to be traditionally. To be honest, have you ever had a Korean army stew before?
No.
Either have I. So maybe this isn't this is the way it is. But I'm pretty sure we bought it from a Korean restaurant, so it should be right.
Because I've had some Korean food before, and you have those kind of like moments where it's like, oh my god, this is so hot. You know, I'm going to feel this the morning after.
Yes.
Somewhere else that you kind of process it, but this one's actually really tasty. It's like the kind of umami bomb of kind of instant noodles.
I feel like it's less chili, more savory, and the cheese has a large part to do that. So let's do Corkscrew ratings based on the pairing, not the wine itself. Yeah. And for me, although it works, I'm not blown away and saying I really want this pairing again. So, gosh, I'm hovering between a 6 and a 7. I'd actually say 6, not because it doesn't work, but purely that it's not exciting me in any way.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Corkscrew rating?
I concur.
You concur?
I second that. 6 out of 10 for me. It's good, but as I said before, it's like man, it's like it does it, but it's not amazing.
All right.
Okay.
So we've tried the Moscato. We know that Korean army stew is amazing. Let's move on to your wine. And then did you want to talk through it?
Yeah, so I wanted to try something a bit different, because we like to try different. Different is good. I went for a Mader Gewurztraminer.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Gewurztraminer? Is it?
Not just Gewurztraminer. You got to have a pause in between. Yeah.
I'm saying it with a German accent, but I think it's actually from Alsace, which is eastern France.
Yes.
2020. So I went to my local, not Dan Murphy's for once. It was Annandale Cellars.
Oh, yeah.
And I went there trying to find something a bit more different to mainstream, and asked him, "What's a good Gewürz?" Because that's how we say it in the game, short Gewürz.
That's how the is it a German variety but in France?
I got no idea. We have to find out.
You don't know the game there.
I don't know the game yet, but it looks German. So he said that this one, which is a standard one, which is like got the Hugel Gewurztraminer, and this is the Mader Gewurztraminer. So the Mader he recommended because it's a bit more low volume, high quality type of wines, biodynamic, organic in how they make it. So they said there could be better fruit. There should be better fruit to come across. It says they're kind of sweet as well. So I'm hoping it's not be too sweet, kind of semi-sweet, off dry.
Yeah.
Again, to your point around the Moscato, with that kind of sweetness balancing out with the spiciness. Hoping it will work. So let's see how it goes.
All right. And on the eyes, it feels a bit darker than the Moscato. Still got that yellow gold.
Yeah. So I got this for $50 from Annandale Cellars.
Oh, that's decent. Okay.
Yeah.
And on the nose, ooh.
I never had a Gewurz. I don't think I have many Gewurz before. Have you?
So the first Gewurz I had was actually in Hunter Valley. And I remember at the time, very early in our wine journey, we went there and I'm pretty sure we all bought quite a few of the bottles there because it's an easy drinking wine, quite sweet, and why wouldn't you like that? A bit more fruit. It's still sweet on the nose, but I feel like you get a bit more fruit bouquet coming through, like some pear that's coming through there.
Yeah, it's a bit more. Has a bit of a kick to it as well. Funnily enough, like a. Have you drank it yet?
No, not yet. A kick in terms of the scent or in terms of the flavor?
On the tongue, on the palate.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when you drink it, let me know what you think. But yeah, it smells.
There's an odd spice there that you don't expect.
Ginger, like a bit. Ginger, but it's that bit of fruit as well. A bit of like lychee and ginger.
I absolutely get the ginger there. It's almost like a dried ginger lolly or something.
With a slight hint of honey as well.
Yeah, that's right. I get the honey.
You know, they always use the term honeysuckle. But I never had honeysuckle. Do you know it?
What is that?
I don't know what honeysuckle is.
Community, please let us know what the hell is a honeysuckle. But the finish of it has this, I don't know, there's some sort of spice. I'm trying to pick out what it is because it changes the flavor profile from being sweet to something else.
It's another one of those kind of interesting wines. It has that kind of fullness to it as well. For a white wine, though not.
Yeah, it's got a fair bit of body in there. And what's interesting, like if I remember the Hunter Valley Gewurztraminer that I had, it was just sweetness. It actually just reminded me of Moscato, to be honest. This isn't like that. It's got more complexity to it, different flavor profiles. Now, shall we try it with the Korean army stew?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, so my first thoughts are because there's a bit of spice and savouriness to the Korean army stew. I was mentioning there's some sort of spice that I'm getting or herbs that I'm getting, I'm getting with this.
Is that ginger spice, is it, or what are you thinking?
Are you thinking Spice Girls? Ginger spice.
No, ginger as a spice, not. Was it Jerry Halliwell?
Maybe that's what it is. But I feel like because of that spice at the end, it feels like it's conflicting, or it's kind of not meshing well together with the spice from this Korean army stew. What do you think?
Yeah, like I feel that the wine itself is actually better by itself than it is with the Korean army stew. But then I was also thinking through my brain as well, because this isn't as spicy as we're normally used to, does it add that kick of spice to kind of then make it even better? I'm still in two minds about it, but it hasn't kind of like made me think one way or another straight away.
Yeah.
So, which makes me think, if I could put a corkscrew rating on it, again, 6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I only purely because I want to differentiate between the Moscato and the Gewurztraminer. I gave the Moscato a 6. I'd give this a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Purely because I felt like the spice profile didn't work well together. But on its own, I think it's a nice wine to really make you think and try something new. And
my bonus round, you guys have to...
we're on to the bonus round, and my goodness, I want to hold this up to the I want to hold this up to the camera, because if you can see this, there is a layer of liquid, and then on top of it, some cloudy white layer as well.
It could look quite scary for some people.
I don't know what Trent put into this, but this is... think about white and cloudy, and tell me what comes into your mind. So,
Trent's special sauce.
Trent's special sauce. What is this? What's this bonus round?
Okay, so it's called Korean Makkoli.
Korean. Like how you say. Even Korean you put on the accent. Yeah. Makkoli.
Yeah, which is fermented rice wine. So it's very traditional rice wine that you have with a lot of Korean food. It's a bit tangy, bit sour, bit of sweetness with a bit of fizz as well.
And the bottle itself has got... It's cloudy. It's like there's this white powder through it.
Cloudy with a chance of Korean army stew. That's what I say.
And is this a ChatGPT recommendation, or is this a...
So they recommend a few. You know, one was, I think, sparkling wine. One was the Gewurz, which I went for. And the other one's a Korean Makkoli. And the reason why I said this one is it's got mild sweetness, slightly fizzy nature that can complement the stew's flavors. So again, we'll see this one. This is a bit more a traditional pairing. It is a wine. It is a rice wine. And also a good thing with this one, it is rich in antioxidants as well. So it's actually good for you.
That sold it. I feel like I'm going to be healthier after.
But I also said that this is one of those ones where it's also very dangerous. You know, after 5 shots, you know, you could start to feel it because it just goes down so easy.
Are you meant to shot this?
You can shot it.
You can.
Normally, you wouldn't have it in a wine glass. If you've been to a Korean restaurant, they're given this kind of like dodgy bowl.
Yeah. Oh, a bowl. I've seen this. Bowl, it looks like a dog bowl.
A dog bowl that you drink from.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. But, you know, we've got a bit more class here. We've got it in a wine glass because it is rice wine.
We got our Spam. Let's be a bit more classy. Okay.
All right. So you already said on the eye.
Yeah.
On the eye. Looks cloudy. Looks like something that
reminds
you of last night.
So... Think white powder in a bit of water, a bit of thickness, viscosity.
White powder last night. Is that
yeah, I'm curious if this dries up. So
on the nose?
On the nose. Let's see. Oh, it's got that rice wine flavor. Like, how do you describe? Like, there's a bit of fermentation to it. You can smell the fermentation if you can describe that.
It's a certain flavor. Like, it does smell like rice. It does smell like boiled rice, but kind of sweeter.
But there's a bit of like a bitterness or something to it. There's something there's a funk. I would say there's a funk to it
but
from
I like
the fermentation.
No, get with the funk in there.
You like that? All right.
Take me to a funky town.
On the taste, have a big gulp of that. Swirl that around.
It's good. I actually like it. To be honest, has that kind of sour, sweet fizz.
You know, there's a bit of creaminess to it. To me, it's kind of like soy milk, but a bit thicker. So there's a bit of creaminess, there's a bit of sweetness. I don't get much of a hit of alcohol, to be honest.
No.
There's no burning sensation.
That's why it's dangerous.
And how much alcohol is in this? I'm curious.
More or less than beer, 6%.
6% alcohol.
So slightly less than a standard beer, 7 point something percent for the beer, is it?
So you don't, yeah, that's right. So you don't think you're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the flavors you're getting?
Flavors is, yeah, I do like that kind of ricey flavor. I don't know how would you describe it? Like, I love that smell of like fresh boiled rice, but it's a bit more funky.
Yeah.
With it, I did have it with a piece of spam as well, which was pretty good.
Hey,
I love
spam's
it.
good. I told you. Yeah.
So they often say that with pairings, right? You kind of what works well is with wines from the same area from where the food comes from. And in this case, Korean rice wine with the Korean army stew, it kind of works best for me. So, like, in terms of pairing, I'm going to put it down there now. 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Best wine, best pairing. And you, Jace? What are your thoughts as it kind of processes through your brain?
Yeah. So I just smashed some spam. Love spam.
Oh, I love
the noodles. And as I've had it, of course it works. Like they say, if you have chili and a bit of spice, right, have some milk, and it helps balances out. It's kind of a similar combination, and maybe if this was a bit hotter, it'd work even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree. Look, I think if you haven't had rice wine before, it's got a very distinct fermentation flavor. It's not your typical sweet or dry. There's another dimension to it.
It's different to sake. Sake normally doesn't have that fizz.
Yes.
It has that fizz. And obviously it's a lot more opaque than clear.
And that brings the creaminess. So it kind
Love
of
the-
does bring that milk to
creaminess.
it. So you do love cream. So if I think about ratings, wow, okay. Look, the bonus round could actually take out the crown. If I was to rank these, I would rate the Makkoli a better pairing than the Moscato and the Gewurztraminer. And so if I have to go by numbers, Corkscrew rating, that means it's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But you need to be familiar with the fermentation flavor from rice wine.
The origination from where the wine comes from to where the food is, that kind of just comes together.
Yep.
I know the balance of it, like it has that kind of milkiness, it kind of offsets the spiciness. It has the flavors of the funk there with the funk and the umami of the Korean army stew. It just kind of works together.
You're right.
It just works best, like
Double funk.
Double funk. Yeah, get with the funk. Sometimes maybe you shouldn't mess with the classics.
Well, you said it earlier. You said if you have the drinks that pair with the meals from the same area, it's gonna make sense.
Yeah,
because that kind of represents it, the location, the area, etc.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, and so there we go. We worked out. The question was, what wine best pairs with Korean army stew? Have the Korean Makkoli.
It seems straightforward, but we have to try something different, right?
But you got to try something different. Maybe the Moscato, the Gewurz. Maybe if we had more heat, the Gewurz would work very well.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think from the community. What do you think? What wine best pairs with Korean army stew on your side? And so as we wind it up, is there any last comments that you wanted to share?
No, again, it's just the experimentation that we have today, right? Try different things with different foods. Today we went for Korean army stew. Maybe later on we'll have some kebabs.
Yes, please.
Yes. But yeah, it's great to experiment, try new things, think new things, process new things, and it's an enjoyable experience.
Absolutely. And so for anyone listening or watching, let us know what wine pairing you'd like us to try. Happy to try anything new. We'll give it a go and see what wine best pairs with that. And so as we say here in the wind up,
drink more,
try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Cheers. Boom.